I've made this edit for one simple reason. This was not a debate. It never was. My opponent, whose fake name I refuse to use, came to preach. He clearly came prepared with a machine gun filled with pseudoscience bullet points, and he overwhelmed me. I point out his use of the tactic in the debate, but to further drive my point home, I've made this edit to cut through the fat. Since my use of the word crap effectively derailed the entire debate, as you'll see, I will debunk all of the nonsense that he didn't give me time to during the actual debate. If you think I've played any kind of trickery to make my opponent look bad, please refer to the original video down below. Thank you, and have a great day.
Welcome to The Objective Thinker. As always, I'm your host, Maximus Tertavius. Today we have a extra special episode for you. Today we're joined by Kevin Kennedy, all the way from Canada. Me and him met each other on the NASA Facebook page. As most of you know from The Objective Thinker, you found me on the NASA Facebook page. Me and him have agreed to hold a debate between ourselves. So everybody, please welcome Kevin to the show. Welcome, Kevin.
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
Oh, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm not really associated with space exploration in any way officially. I'm a flooring installer by trade. I'm just very much fascinated by space and everything that's done up there. And so that's why I follow the NASA page. And then I one day kind of started reading the comments and noticed how nuts it was down in the comments, and wanted to get in on that a little bit.
I encountered the very similar background as you. I come from this not being any kind of scientist or space explorer, Marine by trade. I was a finance manager for a while, dealt with a lot with numbers, and basically was the financial hub of the dealership. And I've always been a science nerd at heart. Actually, I came to this whole approach from an atheistic, scientific point of view when I first discovered the flat Earth theory, which is what me and Kevin are going to be debating today. And that brought me back to the Lord. And one of the things I did was, as soon as I researched flat Earth theory for about 3 years, one day I too was like, hey, I wonder what's happening on the NASA Facebook page. And I jumped on there and saw that the comment section was like this wasteland of comments and decided to jump in. Me and Kevin have had some back and forths for going on probably 3 or 4 weeks now.
Yeah, some pretty heated ones too.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, and I always love a good debate. And one of the reasons why I started the Objective Thinker page is because on the NASA Facebook page, there's very limited content you can share on that page. You're not really allowed to share images or GIFs. Links seem to be disabled for most people on there. I've seen some people that are able to share links on the Facebook page, but anything some people post, it seems to be just flagged as spam instantly as we make it. So that's one of the reasons why I created the Objective Thinker page, was so people could come here and have debates. So this is actually the first one-on-one debate we've actually ever taken on with somebody outside of maybe coming things from a more conspiracy mindset, if you will.
And I want to go ahead and agree with you about the limited ability on NASA's Facebook page. You're right; it's really difficult to post anything beyond text there, and for a lot of these debates, it's really hard to get your point across with just text.
Sure, yeah. People want you to write a 3,000 word scientific essay in the comments section of Facebook explaining your point with references and the whole bit. And it's like, I'm not going to type this out on my $20 phone for you guys. I really do expect people to go do their own research when it comes to these things. On NASA, I would say I've been attacked a little bit, and rightly so in some cases. And I'll give that to you as well. But honestly, when I first went on there, I had some legit scientific questions, and I knew what the answers to those questions were going to lead to in the debates they were going to lead to, right? But instantly, I was just instantly attacked before I even said I thought the Earth was flat or anything like that. I came out with some basic questions, and I got attacked. I mean, I had random strangers message me in Messenger telling me that my kids look like they've got Down syndrome. Now, that hasn't been Kevin. Me and Kevin have pretty much kept it civil for the most part, I would say.
For the most part.
there are people, it seems like you always do find the same people on the NASA Facebook page as well.
Yes.
So
it seems generally it's like 8 to 10 people on either side.
sure, I would agree with that. Yeah, that seems fair. So I guess that would give a little bit of historical context between the relationship between myself and Kevin, and a little bit of where I think each one of us is coming. So I think the goal here today is I'm going to be obviously taking the side of the flat Earth, and Kevin's going to be taking the side of the heliocentric model, and we're going to come at things with our best evidences and talk them out and see what we come up with. So with that, I guess I will give Kevin the floor, the opening statement for the debate.
All right. Well, I'm going to say that the reason I come to the conclusion that the Earth is a globe, oblate spheroid, whatever term you want to use to describe it, a ball, essentially, I came to this conclusion not because I was told so by NASA, but because I came to this conclusion on my own. I used to be a conspiracy theorist of sorts. In particular, I used to believe that we never went to the moon. And so I started looking into that, and I found every piece of moon hoax evidence debunked, and pretty rationally with things that I could acknowledge myself. I didn't need NASA's help to prove that they went to the moon. And it just kind of went on from there. I discovered the Flat Earth Society, and to this day, I have never seen any convincing evidence that the Earth is flat, and I have seen mountains of evidence that the Earth is round. And so that's where I stand.
Fair enough. I started this, as a former Marine working for the government. I was in Marine Corps infantry for 4 years. One of the things I dealt with was mortars, was my specialty, and that's a high angle of fire weapon. It shoots a round that goes, 10,000 feet in the air. It has a flight time of, up to a minute at times. But we never ever took things like the Coriolis effect into account when shooting those.
Well, isn't that interesting? Which one of you is lying? Which one of you is even in the military?
Which I find odd because, snipers apparently do. I know snipers that were in the same company as me in the Marine Corps, and none of them have been able to explain the Coriolis effect and how they take it into account when they fire a shot either. As far as the moon goes, I would say there's a mountain of evidence that would suggest, in fact, that it has been faked. There's numerous photos from the Apollo missions where shadows are cast two different directions. And from the way light works scientifically, light's not going to cast two different shadows in two different directions with one light source, i.e. the sun in this instance. There's also been video evidence of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin covering up a portion of the moon, covering up a portion of a window on their trip to the moon, showing Earth, making it appear spherical.
The inconsistent shadows thing pretty much disproves itself. I highlighted myself on the desktop at one point, but let's go back to that other thing he said. I love when cultists refer to this footage. He rambled far too much for me to get back to it, but that footage is from a movie called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. Its creator, Bart Sibrel, makes this awesome claim.
And finally, the element that seals their fate. Of all the footage of Apollo 11 requested from NASA over a 5-year period, one gem was discovered just before the completion of this documentary. An old reel received by mistake.
That's right. NASA accidentally sent him, a conspiracy theorist, footage that had been collecting dust in his storage room that also happens to show legitimate evidence of a cover-up. Sure. This footage has been debunked 1,000 times over. Not only are the cloud patterns in the window consistent with those on Earth at the time, but Sibrel actually just leaves out footage which shows the Earth from 2 angles as the Apollo module moves. Incidentally, Bart Sibrel was also punched in the face for harassing Buzz Aldrin.
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself.
Away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
And got arrested for stomping on the hood of someone's car during a parking dispute. That's right, his proof comes from an idiot man-child and confirmed liar.
Well, yeah, on flat Earth model, just to make a quick counterpoint on Coriolis effect.
Okay.
You know, if we take into account what's going to happen is this argument's going to lead to relativity. I'll tell you right now. But if we take into account like a plane flying east to west versus west to east, and that's how the Earth spins on a heliocentric model, you know, wouldn't flights get there quicker if they were going, you know, against the spin of the Earth versus with the spin of the Earth? And what science is going to tell us is, well, no, you have to take relativity into account, that the plane in the air, it's all traveling with the spin. It's all relative to that. Would you agree that that's what science explains?
Yes, but again, I'm a little too ill-informed to speak on the specifics.
Okay, fair enough. I find that anytime we're going to get into a flat Earth debate or topic, we're always going to come to these three main sticking points. We're going to come to the theory of gravity,
Right.
the theory of relativity,
Right.
and then we're also going to get into like perspective and things like the Coriolis effect, this subset group of other anomalies that there are many scientific explanations for.
No, no, and no. I don't have time to explain basic science to you guys, and he rambles and rambles and rambles without getting anywhere. Here's some handy links. How about that? Yeah, I agree that the math is difficult to understand, in that I don't even understand it myself.
I would say that's paradoxical.
I don't know that I agree because, again, I'm too ill-informed on the specifics of the math. What I'm bothered by here is, have you ever heard of the term Gishgalop?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Glishgalop?
Gishgalop. I know,
Gishgalop.
it's a silly sounding word.
I don't believe that I've ever heard that terminology.
It's a tactic in debating in which you overwhelm your opponent with a lot of minute, really incidental evidence, with a lot of specifics that ignore bigger questions.
Well, what are your bigger questions? I'm all ears.
Who's in on it? Who's in on the conspiracy? Because here's the thing: it can't just be NASA. It has to be.
I agree.
It has to be the entire scientific
I
community.
agree. It's everybody who's signed the Antarctic Treaty.
Okay.
Every country that's part of that would have to be in on it. Okay. Basically, I don't think that everybody at NASA that works there is in on it. I think there's a lot of brilliant people that work at NASA that are doing a lot of big math. They're told that this is their job. Hey, you got to figure out this really big hard equation, right? And they're smart enough to figure out that equation. But it doesn't prove that they could not be in on it. Really, all you'd have to have is the very top level officials at NASA who are calling the shots. You'd have to have the astronauts in on it. They'd have to know. They happen to be Freemasons, most of them. All of the ones who've been to the moon, for sure, are Freemasons. The Freemason website openly brags about, look how many astronauts we have. This is all very provable stuff. You could do a simple Google search right now, look up Freemason astronauts. It'll take you right to a Freemason website where they openly tell you.
And in addition to all these people, you also need all shipping companies to be involved, all airline companies, most of their employees, every transnational company whose goods are moved around the world would need to be involved. Telecommunications companies.
You make the math so big that no one really understands it except for a couple of people. Right? They tell you the Earth's so big that you can't see the curve on an airline flight at 30,000 feet. You just can't see it. You're not far enough away from it. So how would they have to be in on anything?
It has nothing to do with whether or not they can see the curvature.
Sure it does.
No, it has to do with how they travel around the Earth and how, they would know they were traveling on a flat Earth.
There's all kinds. Exactly. Go look up flat Earth flight path videos.
No. Again, here's where the Gishgalop really comes into play. He rambles about flight paths for 5 goddamn minutes, and again, I don't have the time to debunk every single destination he brings up. So instead, once again, here are some slightly smarter people than I to do so. And pilots have no ability whatsoever to figure this out, but you did?
There's plenty of people that have figured this out.
But
look
no
at the
pilots.
Google
I've
metrics.
Never seen a pilot speak.
I'm a pilot. I fly a paramotor.
Do you fly for an international airline?
I do not speak for all international islands.
Can you give me the words of one pilot who flies a passenger liner?
No, I can't speak for somebody. If you'd like to find somebody that thinks that and call them up and ask, we can.
They don't exist.
I don't know
That's
anybody.
my point. There's no pilot who flies for a passenger airliner who believes this crap. And here's where things really get off the rails. Yeah, calling it crap was a little rude, but just wait for his reaction. And it doesn't get better from here. Here's where he really starts to constantly talk over me and berate me and just pounce like some kind of rabid animal on every little thing I do, including my laugh.
This crap.
Yes.
You know, we went from having a very nice tone in our debate to all of a sudden calling things crap. What happened to respecting everybody's ideas? Or is that your cognitive dissonance kicking in?
I'm so sorry you're offended by the word crap. Move on. Grow a spine. What do you want from me?
Wow. Okay,
What?
so what?
Yeah, what? Like you're stopping the debate now. You're stopping the debate now because you're offended by the word crap. Shut up and get back on point.
Don't tell me to shut up on my own show. Laugh like a little girl, too.
The height of intellectualism.
What happened to your Canadian manners? Aren't you sorry?
Listen to you. Listen to you.
Listen to you. Oh, yeah, we're offended. Oh, listen to you.
Your panties are all twisted around.
The shit show.
So
next point, Kevin.
He's going nuts.
What's your next point? Oh, I'm going nuts.
Yeah, you are. You're flipping out because I said crap, and you still can't get over it.
We're over it. Next point, Kevin.
All right. If the moon produces its own light, why can amateur telescopes photograph it showing shadows consistent with the sun? Why can't flat earthers agree on the height of the ice wall? Like, how can you explain the Dish Network, a satellite TV network? Is this a moon
question or is this an Antarctica question? So let's get that first off before you can. You're sorry.
See, he doesn't like when his own tactics are used against him. Apparently, he's also never heard of someone saying, "I'm sorry," as in, "What did you say?" And really, making fun of Canadian accents? Height of intellectualism.
Let's debate
whether... That was me asking you to repeat yourself.
Do you have a question about the moon, or do you have a question about Antarctica? Because you combine the two. So what's your question?
I asked two questions.
No, I know. You asked me two questions,
okay,
two
so
separate
let's go to the
questions
first one,
together.
Answer either of them.
Question. What are you taking, like Twitter questions on here? I'm debating a flirter. Send in your questions.
I've noticed a common personality trait among flat earthers and conspiracy theorists in general: extreme paranoia. Everyone's out to get you, from the big bad government to the guy talking to you on Skype. No, I just have a mountain of evidence to support my claims.
Okay, and I've got a mountain of evidence to disprove you, so I can go all day, buddy.
That's good.
So the moon is claimed to be self-illuminated during the flat earth theory. There are multiple instances of the moon being visible during a solar eclipse, but it wasn't eclipsing the sun. Have you ever researched that?
I just spent like 20 minutes searching YouTube and flat earth crap. I can't find this happening. Not once. You're not answering my question.
That's part of it. That is part of the question. And I asked you a one-word answer question, yes or no. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's happened on 2 or 3 recorded instances in history. Look it up.
I did. I couldn't find it.
Okay. Next, about the moon's being self-illuminated. You can observe plenty of times where the sun and the moon are in the sky, and you're seeing a half moon, right? You'll see in the middle phase, where it's not a full moon, it's not a new moon, it's right in the middle, correct?
Right.
And you can see that with the sun in the sky, directly across from the moon. Now, I know how light works. It works in straight lines. Well, if the sun's completely, in this instance, west setting, and the moon is in the sky to the east, and it's only half lit, how does that make any sense to you?
I'm cutting this part short because he repeats himself a lot, but refer back to my original point. Why wouldn't that be possible? Can anyone watching this video please show me a way in which what he's describing would be impossible? I don't think he understands the size of the sun, or physics, or light, or any of that stuff, really. I mean, you can't when you don't believe in gravity.
On a flat earth theory, it's much, much closer and much, much smaller.
Which is also wrong.
And that's what you guys feel. Oh, your point's just automatically right.
Actually, yeah, that is how that works. Considering my point is the generally accepted model of the universe, and yours is one that is contested to the point where it's seen as laughable by most of the scientific community, yes, my point is automatically right, until you can prove it wrong, which you can't.
Because I've got science behind me. What you fail to see is if you would have dug into your conspiracies a little bit further, Junior, you would have found out that people like Newton, Einstein were heavily into the occult. most of them are Freemasons. What you fail to see is that maybe you've been lied to. And your little science that you all cling to is science is God, universe is too big for God. Maybe you were all wrong.
My grandfather was a Freemason.
I see what degree was he?
I don't know.
You should ask him, or maybe he's the dead. Oath of silence. Well, ask somebody who knew him.
Excuse me, please let me finish speaking. My grandfather had an 8th grade education and was a prison guard. He was not a smart man, not by any terms whatsoever. He was also a Freemason, which is a group of old men who get together and chat about war stuff and sometimes do charity events.
That's one branch. That's like the Shriners. That's one branch.
That is all they are.
That is not all they are. It goes much deeper than that. If you want to get into Operation Paperclip and Werner von Braun and bringing Nazi scientists over to start NASA. Knowledge. Yeah, all public knowledge.
Yes, everybody knows that.
And you can see them with the Freemasonry hand symbols too. So
here I'm going to take a page out of Maximus's book. I'm not even debunking this crap. If you want to know more about the Freemasons, look it up yourself. If you honestly believe that the Freemasons are a secret society controlling the world and showing the entire world all of their secret symbols and slipping up constantly so that average people can figure out what they're doing, be my guest. As far as Paperclip goes, as I said, all public knowledge. It's well known and documented that the American government hired former Nazi scientists to assist with post-war research. It's also well known that Werner von Braun, inventor of the V-2 rocket, was also the director of the Marshall Space Flight Center. All of this ignores the why. So former Nazi scientists worked for NASA. And? Where are you going with that? Okay, so here's a question for you. Are you aware that both modern flat earth movements and models that created it exist as radical interpretations of religious texts?
Radical interpretations of religious texts?
Yes, one is based on Charles K. Johnson's hyper-literal interpretation of the Bible, and another comes from fundamentalist Islam, which uses a very literal interpretation of a handful of Quran verses.
I don't know that to be true, because there's been scientists and sailors during the early 1900s who have went around Antarctica and measured it as 60,000 miles.
First, notice how he didn't name any of those scientists or sailors. I couldn't find them. Incidentally, this is why we don't trust the words of people from 100 years ago. They get things wrong when they don't have access to modern scientific equipment. Yes.
So what are you clicking? Let me ask you, what are you clicking on right now? Because I don't feel the need to be typing or clicking right now. What are you doing over on your end?
Why is that relevant?
It's very relevant.
What is it relevant to?
I asked you a question. Why can't you answer? It's a debate. It's a fair question.
Not really. It's irrelevant.
No, it's a very fair question.
It's completely irrelevant, and you can't explain how it is. And if you cannot, then
I can explain how it is, because I can hear you clicking and typing, Kevin.
What's your point?
So what are you doing?
Why do you care? What does it matter to the debate? It does not matter to the debate.
I don't know. Are you searching Google for questions? Are you taking questions from Twitter? Are these even your questions?
Perfect paranoia is perfect awareness.
Well, I want to know who I'm debating. Am I debating all of the internet? Am I debating Kevin Kennedy from Canada?
Dude. I have a fucking folder on my desktop full of text documents and a handful of images. That's what I'm clicking through. Are you satisfied? Fucking relax.
Oh, look who's flipping out now. I'm not the one flipping out, guys.
Yeah, he's equating his rant about the word crap to me being slightly annoyed that he thinks I'm using the entire internet against him. You done?
Uh-huh.
You done?
Uh-huh.
What do you want? I answered your question.
I'm waiting for your next question. I'm waiting for yours. You answered my question. I'm waiting for yours now.
Oh, you never stated that at any point. You said, uh-huh.
Uh-huh. That's what you do in your text conversations. I'll be more than happy to provide that on the Objective Thinker.
Oh, I'd love to. The ones where you get all pissy because I call you a dick.
Uh-huh.
And then you pull this kind of childish shit. So for some context here, our back and forth before the debate had a lot of lead up to it. He initially wanted me to use an app called TeamViewer, which I quickly discovered was frequently used by scammers, so I refused, and he spent about 4 weeks trying to figure out how to set up a Skype conversation. He refused to use OBS Studio or any other desktop capture software like I did. He insisted that we record our audio tracks separately. I assume this is because he wants to screw with it somehow, which is why I recorded my desktop. And then later he very clearly wanted to screw with me. He was trolling me and saying, "Oh, you boosted my page reach," and I sat there going, "Uh-huh," because I didn't know what he expected me to say. So this is his response. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Height of intellectualism, folks. And enjoy the next couple minutes, because it seems like he's about to let out some pent-up aggression about bullies or something.
You act like a troll on my page all the time, so it's cool.
Yeah,
I have no problem. You guys, I'm gonna dish out exactly as you guys do to me. It's cool. You guys have a really hard time taking a dose of your own medicine, like so Thomas. Thomas.
You need to get back at everybody for all the hurtful things NASA said to you.
NASA didn't say anything to me. I never claimed they did, Kevin.
But listen to you. Like, why do you need to get back at people? Why do you need to get back at people?
I give you guys exactly what I treat people as they treat me, Kevin. It's the golden rule. You should start living by it.
That's not the golden rule. The golden rule is to treat others as you want to be treated. You can't even get religion right.
Oh, yeah.
You atheists don't believe in God. You surely believe in the golden rule, don't you?
And flipping out when people say crap is rational and
No, I'm asking
behavior.
you about your religious beliefs now.
Off the rails.
Why? Why
you
does that
atheists
matter?
believe it. You atheists believe
When did I say I was an atheist?
Plenty of times. On
once.
NASA, I'm pretty sure, didn't you? Are you one of the God haters, God deniers?
Not once. I have never once said I was an atheist.
What religion are you, Kevin? I'm asking.
agnostic.
I would like it known for the record.
I'm agnostic.
You're agnostic, which is pretty much next to atheist.
Not really.
Okay, so, and then, let me ask you, are you a Freemason?
Paranoia.
No.
No. Are you part of any other secret organizations?
No.
Or secret societies?
No.
Okay. Just want to know who I'm talking to.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Like,
So what do you got? What's your next science question? I keep going for days. You guys got gravity, relativity, that's all you got.
really? That's all we've got?
Yep. Oh, what are you going to pull up? Some 3,000-year-old sticks in the sand that produce shadows?
You still have no explanation for the power lines.
Yeah, I do.
You see how he pounced on that? Ooh, he was just waiting for it. By the way, he never does explain it. This wonderful natural phenomenon that you can see for yourself in Louisiana, where a set of power lines stretch across a lake and demonstrate the curve of the Earth. It's pretty interesting.
That still works on a flat Earth model. If the sun is much closer, you could still get the same effect with it traveling across the firmament. Next.
How do you get power lines curving over what is...
Pocahontas, the one pictures, easily debunked with the lens they've used.
Pardon me?
Are you talking about the power lines in Louisiana?
Yes, what about them?
It's been debunked already by lens.
How?
The type of lens and camera they used. People have already produced other images. It's on the Objective Thinker. Feel free to look. People have posted links debunking it.
Sure, yeah,
Next.
I'll cut that into my video as well. Hey, will you fucking relax?
I'll keep going all day, bud. I want your next question.
No, you're sitting here going, next, like a fucking bird, you
Because I just fucking destroyed you. Next.
You didn't do shit. You said, I've got evidence elsewhere. Next!
We start this off nice and friendly, Kevin, but let's keep going, buddy.
I repeated
I got all
exactly
day.
what you did. You said, you've got evidence elsewhere, and then you screamed, next, like a bird.
It's right on the Objective Thinker. Everybody can go see it.
What you said is your evidence is elsewhere. You don't have any here.
I'm not the one typing into computers looking for it. I said it's been disproved with the lens they used. People have also taken... I don't see you showing me the picture. What? I obviously knew what you were talking about, the link you were talking about. I knew your argument before you even presented it. So you can't even pronounce the name of it.
So you've already seen it.
What's the name of it, Kevin? Pronounce the name.
Of what?
Of the lake in Louisiana. The power lines. You can't even name it.
Lake Pontchartrain.
Is that how it's from Pontchartrain?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's pronounced differently. I've never been there.
Okay. Great. So I already knew what you were talking about. I've told you that there's other evidence.
You said it's been debunked elsewhere. Next.
I said it's on the Objective Thinker.
What about the lenses? Explain the lenses.
The lens they use produced the curvature effect. People have also taken separate photographs that show no curvature.
I have never seen one.
Go look. It's posted in the Objective Thinker.
I have looked. I have never seen one.
It's on there right now. Go whip out your smartphone and check. Next question.
Okay, so he's clearly dodging here because he has no evidence. I can't find anything on the Objective Thinker page about those power lines. Incidentally, who cares if I pronounce the lake's name wrong? What does that matter to the point? There are no photos or videos debunking those power lines whatsoever. There is one video that tries to, with a blurry handycam that you can't see for shit. He didn't disprove anything, and he's standing there acting like he destroyed me? Are you fucking kidding me? Explain a satellite phone working in the center of the Pacific Ocean.
There's a system called the RAN that does all the communications
since 2003.
Oh, so they told you.
See, that's the ultimate counter argument to every.
Okay, well, yeah.
They're in on it.
Eventually, one of us has to take something.
They're in on it.
Eventually, you have to either believe what you believe in and take it on faith, and I have to believe what I take and believe it on faith.
No, I don't. Who am I taking it on faith from? The government? Satellite phone companies? Telecommunications companies? My cell phone provider? There are thousands of people and thousands of companies that have satellites in space. Every single one of them is lying? Get out.
Show me a real picture of a satellite, Kevin Kennedy. I'll wait. There's not a real picture. Not of one floating in outer space. Maybe
there absolutely has. Excuse me, if you'll stop yelling for a second, I'll explain that.
Please, I'll wait.
There have been a handful of pictures of satellites in outer space, real photographs, mostly from the ISS, and they're moving at a very slow speed at the time. Because here's the difficulty, folks. Here's what flat earthers fail to understand. It is very difficult to take a picture of something that is 3 meters wide, traveling several hundred kilometers an hour.
I agree. I agree that is hard to do. What you globelings fail to understand is that you could stick a selfie stick on it with a camera and take a picture and send the signal back to every one of them. It weighs like a pound.
Why?
It doesn't even weigh a pound. Well, no, to prove it. Why? Your argument was, well, it's hard to do. Give me a better argument that it's hard to do. I'll wait.
There is no better argument than it's hard to do.
Why should we do it? For your entertainment? That's your second argument. No, do it to prove it, because you can't, because there aren't any pictures.
What I said is, essentially, why should any company, NASA or otherwise, spend extra money to satisfy you?
Dude, I'll pay for the $100 GoPro and selfie stick myself.
Then do it.
I will. I'll send it to NASA. I doubt they're going to stick it on.
Any company will gladly allow you to attach something to their satellite, I'm sure, as long as it won't compromise the safety of the satellite in any way.
I'm sure a selfie stick and a camera ain't going to do it. Like seriously, like a GoPro session.
I would love to see you do that.
It weighs like an ounce.
I would love to see you do that.
I would love to see NASA do it. You know, that's my tax dollars hard at work.
So your
what you have is nothing.
So your counter-argument to satellites is a hypothetical experiment.
No, my counter-arguments to satellites is there are no real pictures of them in outer space. And your counter-argument to that was it's very hard to do it.
And I also said that there are some. Hang on.
Yeah, what do they look like? Streaks in space?
Excuse me?
What do they look like? Streaks in space? Go ahead and bring up some of your CGI. Because I'll post all your
flat Earth argument, folks, is to just claim that everything you're looking at is CGI and have no way to prove it whatsoever.
Sure. No, I have eyes. I can look.
You can't just look at it and say it looks like CGI.
The blue marble photos have evidence of them using Photoshop's stamp tool in it.
Oh, I know about that. I know about that. I can explain that as well, folks. Would you like me to explain that?
Yeah, yes, folks.
Yeah, it's
explain
it. It's very simple. You're talking
your whopping audience of 10, folks.
Shut
your
up.
Your whopping audience of 10. Who are you talking to?
Talking to your audience, asshole.
Did he forget he was hosting a podcast? Was talking to whoever's listening. Is he this stupid?
You know, the people who listen to this podcast?
Let's go. Let's hear it.
Okay. The image you were referring to was captured by a satellite that passed several times over the surface of the Earth. Captured it in long strips of land and water, basically. What it did, unfortunately, is it missed very small sections of the Earth. And so, they did, in fact, copy and paste small parts of it in, so you can see little bits like repeating cloud patterns here and there. However, aside from that, it is real satellite data,
and
Okay.
there's no
And why
argument
did
with
they
that.
do that, Kevin?
Sorry?
Yeah, it's real satellite data. It's real high altitude data, but it's not satellite data because
why did they do that?
according to NASA, we can't get past low Earth orbit, bud.
Did you say why did they do that?
No, they did that because they can't get past low Earth orbit. They did that because they have to do it. That's what NASA even said. It's a composite image. It has to be.
Yes.
It is photoshopped. It has to be.
Yes.
It is a Photoshop.
Yes.
They've
the classic
openly
NASA
admitted
quote
it.
taken out of context.
It is not taken out of context.
absolutely
It's in the
is.
context of the debate we're having right now,
It is
Kevin.
in reference
What planet
to one
are you
photo.
on?
It is
A
in
flat
reference
one.
to
That's
shut
the
up.
one.
It is in reference to one photo, and you are applying it to every NASA photo ever. It is taken out of context.
All of the blue marble photos are the same CGI bullcrap. There's no continuity. Continents are completely different sizes. And the explanations you've offered up on the Objective Thinker is, well, go take a picture of your house and then go do it from somewhere else. It'll look different. No, bud. The beige on my
Yes, it
house
will.
is still going to look beige. My grass is still going to look
if you
green.
use a different
It might be
camera.
a slightly
It'll be a different
different
shade.
shade,
Yes.
but it's not going to be the warped difference if you compare all NASA's blue marble photos together, buddy. Whoa, no.
You're insane. Every single one of those photos has different purposes, was captured with different imagery used to highlight different sections of the Earth. Of course they're going to look different.
Because they
all
can't
have a
stick a
different
real
purpose.
camera out
Stop
there.
interrupting me. Stop
They can't-
interrupting me.
No,
I am
they
not
can't
done.
stick a real
I am
camera
not done.
out there.
Shut up.
Good.
I am not
Nope.
done.
Yo, look who's flooping out now and losing their mind. Good. Let the hate flow, Kevin. I love it. You're acting like you do on the NASA page.
Are you done interrupting
Good.
me?
Good.
Are you done interrupting?
Yeah, this is the point where I lost patience. Because he stopped having a debate. You can hear me trying to answer his questions, and you can hear him talking over me. That's not a debate. So yeah, I got a little pissy. Kinda understandable.
It's my show. I'll keep going if I want to. I'll talk right over the top of you. It's my show. If you don't like it, don't come on again. No sleep lost here. But this is going viral. I love it.
Oh, I hope it does. Please let it go viral. Please let it go viral, where he just talks over me as I attempt to answer his questions, as I attempt to tell him we're not having a debate anymore and try to hang up on him. I would love for that to go viral. I really want everyone to see how fucking stupid he is.
That's great, buddy.
Good.
Having a debate yet? Can I continue my point?
What's your point? That they can't stick a real camera on one and take a real picture of Earth?
Okay, so go
You're telling me in 50 years of spaceflight, we don't have a real live feed that shows the whole Earth spinning?
You may have been noticing this footage throughout the video. It's from a channel called Dish Earth, which was run by the Dish Network until it went offline in 2009. It featured a non-stop 24/7 full view of the Earth. There are endless videos of it. Unfortunately, its camera malfunctioned, and it is no longer online.
The Discover satellite. Now, going back to what I was saying earlier. Going back to what I was saying earlier. Yes, of course, every blue marble photo of the Earth looks different because they were all captured with different equipment, attempting to highlight different parts of the Earth. Some were more dedicated to the terrain. Some were more dedicated to cloud patterns. So yes, of course they all look different because they were all made for completely different purposes.
Yeah, why is North America 25% larger in one than in the other?
What?
Why are continents different sizes from marble photo to marble photo?
Short answer, they're not.
They are. You can compare them side by side. People have done it. Plenty of fucking evidence to prove that too. Next, what's your next point? Let's move on.
If you're done screaming.
I don't have all day for you, Kevin.
If you're done screaming.
I'm done screaming. I'm not screaming. I'm calm, buddy. I'm just excited.
Next! Shut the fuck up. All you do is interrupt and screech like a bird.
Next. Uh-huh.
So, what I'm going to do, folks, is throw up some images on the screen here to explain whatever the hell he's talking about, if whatever he's talking about even exists. Oh my god, the answer to this is so amazingly simple and stupid. The satellites taking the photos were at different heights. So yeah, obviously they're going to be different sizes.
What's your next question? I don't have all time.
What do you like?
Not going on your show's time. We're going on my show's time, bud.
Like, what's your problem exactly? You're like sitting here.
Dude, I got like pizza to eat in like 12 minutes.
That's
I keep
great.
my podcast to an hour, so you got 12 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Better make them quick, Kevin.
You know what? Your attitude's gone disgusting. Like, I'm done, man.
Oh, you quitting now? Oh, boo-hoo. Bye.
You guys hear this?
Go ahead and hang up.
You guys hear
Go ahead and hang up.
What happens when
you don't have any more questions for me.
You interrupt every question I ask.
I'm waiting for the next one. Keep going.
Laugh at it, or you yell CGI, or
no,
you
I'm waiting for your audience. I'm waiting for you and your audience right now. I don't have time for your crap. You either got another question or you don't.
Everything you say reverts to about 3 points. 1.
Yeah. Gravity.
Excuse me.
Relativity.
Excuse me, I'm not finished. 1. They're in on it. 2. Excuse me. You got me slightly flustered.
Yeah. No, I know. Just like you tried with the, oh, you're all offended. I said crap. You guess your little game got on tilt now, huh?
I love how he's clearly still worked up, trying to make fun of me being worked up.
What?
I said you're on tilt. Don't you ever play poker? Getting on tilt is when you've got your opponent so flustered and off balance that they end up taking all your chips.
Uh-huh. That's nice.
Uh-huh.
Like, why are you talking about poker?
Because I was a poker reference. It's a reference. It's an analogy. Don't you understand? I'm sure your audience might understand analogies a little bit better than you do, Kevin.
Yeah, that's great. Why are you talking about poker?
I just was saying that you were on tilt, and then I had to explain what it was to you.
Your argument basically reverts back to 2 things. It's
gravity, relativity,
are
all theories.
Excuse me.
I'm not going to let you put words in my mouth, Kevin.
I'm not. I am explaining your views to you, sir.
Don't call me sir. You can't talk to me the way you did, then call me sir all of a sudden. But go on. Continue.
Your arguments revert back to 2 things. You either end up saying they're in on the conspiracy too, or you end up saying it's CGI because it looks like CGI because reasons. Because Freemasons, because ancient conspiracies. Let me ask you a quick question. Which of these sounds more
I've been waiting for your question, Kevin. I asked for it 4 minutes ago. What's your next audience question?
Audience question. Paranoid.
Which of these sounds more like a Hollywood film to you? 1, we can go to space. Or 2, the government is involved in an international conspiracy to conceal the shape of the Earth that was started by Freemasons and Jesuits hundreds of years ago. Only one of those stories is loosely the plot of National Treasure.
Right, yeah, I'm sure.
That's what I'm saying. Your beliefs are about as believable as a Nicolas Cage film.
Sure, okay. And so is your Big Bang Theory, that everything exploded out of something the size of a grain of sand, and that everything just happened to be, and that the sun is as big as it is, and that the moon is as small as it is, and that we just happen to observe those in our sky, so they're almost perfect eclipses, eclipses. The odds of that are the same as, let's say, every slot machine going off in Las Vegas at the same time.
No, there are plenty of models for the creation of the universe that do not include a creator whatsoever. It's been this way for, 200 years? Have you ever heard of it is this way because it has to be this way? Can I ask you another question?
Shoot, I'm all ears, buddy. You got me for 8 more minutes.
So NASA's faking everything and hiding everything to what?
All space agencies, not just NASA.
To get tax dollars? Is that the idea?
No. The tax dollars they're spending are just the ooh-ah show to keep you sheep entertained. So you're going, oh, see, NASA's real.
I'm missing the why.
To conceal the proof of God.
And there it is, folks. The big enchilada. The final, incontrovertible, undeniable proof that I was never having a debate and I was never speaking to a rational person. I thought I was supposed to be debating the shape of the Earth. If your final argument is that the government is concealing God, I have nothing to say to you, because that has nothing to do with science, logic, or reason. I'm not going to subject you to his whole preachy speech, but basically his idea is, the government is hiding God from us because if we knew for a fact that God was real, we'd act like different, better people and not serve the government. That's the idea, folks. The government is hiding God from you to keep you a bad person. Because, there isn't hundreds of thousands, millions, billions of people across the planet who both believe in God and a round Earth. Did you know that the majority of the scientists who sequence the human genome claim to be religious? Religion and science can work together just fine, if you let it. So that's what it comes down to. He didn't want to debate me. He wanted to convert me. He wanted to preach. How can you have a podcast called The Objective Thinker if you always come back to the exact same view? The point of being objective is that you're able to entertain other viewpoints. If you just come back to God, you are as subjective as they come. You are the very definition of subjective. This was not a debate. This was pure insanity. Nevertheless, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel, which is Lazy Alien. As usual, my name's Kevin, and I'm out.